What's up, guys? Today we're going to watch Marcus Mariota put in another stellar performance. The guy just keeps on playing well, and people just keep on refusing to give him credit. I know what you're thinking. He beat the Bears by 3 points. How could he have played that well? Yeah, I'm sure I don't keep track, but I'm sure he passed for like 200 yards and like 1 touchdown. That's not great. Come on. How are you putting this guy in the same sentence as like Justin Herbert? Come on. Well, I'll show you why. Let's watch some film. Let's get through it. Keep track of just how accurate he is and just how rarely he's asked to throw, but how high tension and high pressure the situations he's asked to throw are, and how far downfield he's throwing when he typically does throw. All right, no more talking. Let's get to some film. Falcons are going to come out with a play-action bootleg, and it's an accurate throw. Kyle Pitts just drops it. He's been doing that a lot this year. Like, yeah, it was on the back hip a little bit, but you got to catch that. Granted, not the best decision. I'm going to go with pedestrian, but I was not thrilled with it. Here, see, this is a really high-end pedestrian throw. He throws it between 2 defenders, but whereas I would sometimes, if it was a quarterback I wasn't so high on, I'd give him the little benefit of the doubt, bump it up to a good throw. Because it's Mariota, who I'm notoriously high on, I'll keep it down, especially considering the first pass was arguably low-end pedestrian. So they both average out to about a pedestrian play. He's added very little, if anything, over expectations so far. Here, pressure in his face, gets the ball out. That's a good throw. Pitts is open, but he's 10 yards downfield, and Mariota's facing pressure. That is exactly what you want him to do. Solid throw with a plus move. Here, this is a bad play by Mariota. So, right here, he should be hitting Drake London on the out. But instead, you can see his eyes are down because he doesn't trust his protection. He's already looking to run, and he's got a clean pocket. He should be resetting and throwing downfield. Instead, he tries to run it, and he gets no yards. It's a negative run. There was a better play to be made. That is bad. Here, Mariota throws a dart. It's a solid throw, so that's 2 solid throws now on this drive already. And then here, it's going to be a read option. He's going to run it out. He does a really good job. He should have been a tackle for loss, but he does a great job of being elusive. That's a positive run. And that fumble was after he was down, so no fumble. Here, play action. Mariota's going to roll left, and while running in a dead sprint left, he manages to make a great throw to Drake London in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. So, drive 1 was really excellent. We got a great throw, 2 solid throws, a plus run, mitigated by that negative run, and then he had 2 pedestrian throws, with 5 plus pocket movements. And as most great drives do, it ends in a touchdown. All right, on to drive 2. Drive 2 is going to get started with a quarterback run. I wish that Mariota would have given the ball away to the running back. That's a negative run. Running back had a lane. Mariota just read it wrong. But here, Cordarrelle Patterson makes up for it. Nice little screen for a ton of yards, and a neutral run on the quarterback sneak. Second and 6. Mariota reads downfield. He doesn't think that he's got it, so he throws the check down. Nothing wrong with it. That's pedestrian. Good progression, being safe with the ball. Here, this one's funky because it looks like an extremely bad pickable. I may need the All-22 to show you guys this, but watch Drake London right here. He runs into the linebacker, and instead of continuing his route through, he's supposed to run a slant. He kind of just stops and gives up, and then you'll see right here, he puts his hands on his head because he knows he fucked up. He just ran the wrong route. And when you run the wrong route and it's zone coverage, that is going to look really bad, and it typically results in an interception. So that's a bad throw on Mariota's part, but it's certainly not pickable because his receiver was supposed to be at least nearby, right? I don't know if that ball gets caught if London's in position, but I certainly know it's not picked. So we're going to grade it as bad. because we understand context and how football works. So part of the reason this game has been close, or will end up being close, is because the Falcons just keep fumbling. So their punt returner fumbled the prior punt return. That's why so much time is churned off the clock. It obviously has nothing to do with Mariota, but if you're wondering, how did Mariota play so well if, you know, he almost lost to the Bears, or he had a close game against the wretched Bears? That's how. That first play of the drive was a neutral run. He got like 4 yards. There was a defensive holding, totally irrelevant to the play. Here, Mariota does a great job avoiding pressure in the pocket. And let's see what happens on this slant. Or, I guess it's an in route by Drake London. And Drake London just misses it. It's a pedestrian throw. He just, watch Drake London stop running. Did you see that? Watch now. Right here. Stops running on his route. And what is a pedestrian throw at the worst turns into a errant pass that doesn't even get touched by a receiver because Drake London just didn't do the right thing. Now there, Mariota just straight up misses. So, how do you kill a drive? Well, the receiver stops running his route for the second time in 2 drives, may I add. And then you miss on 3rd down. Falcons are now losing late in the first half. Got to get something going here. So they start off running, and boy do they, until Cordarrelle Patterson coughs the ball up. And once again, through no fault of Mariota's, turnover. That's the second fumble that the Falcons have coughed up already, both in their own red zone. So things aren't looking too good for the Falcons. They're down 10, but Cordarrelle Patterson wants to make up for the touchdown he just handed the Bears. It has nothing to do with Mariota, and this is a Mariota breakdown, but that feels kind of important to note. The Bears miss a field goal, and Mariota's going to have one last shot to tie this game before half, which is crazy considering very recently they were down like 10. He get it started with a neutral run. It was almost a good run. If he would have stayed up for another yard there, that would have been a positive run, but we're being conservative, right? Here, this is just a solid throw. Good anticipation, gets the ball out to the open receiver 10 yards downfield. Now, there was an offensive pass interference. Drake London pushed off, but that's not Mariota's fault. Here, this is just pedestrian. Get the ball in the hands of your playmaker. Kyle Pitts is way better with the ball in his hands than he actually is at blocking or catching, which is super backwards for a tight end, but I digress. Here, we've got a really good throw by Mariota. Let's watch that again. First of all, we've got a blitzing defensive back in his face, so that's a plus pocket movement. Second of all, it's a good throw, not a great throw, but he puts that ball in a spot where his receiver can not only catch it, but keep moving. Really good play by Mariota. And that'll honestly probably be what gets them in field goal range. Now here's another pedestrian throw just to make super duper sure. And rather than take one more shot at the end zone, because they have no timeouts, they kick the field goal, and we are tied at half. Kicking off the second half with a bang, we got some play action and a deep drive by Mariota. That's a great throw, right in stride. He puts it in a position where Kyle Pitts can protect himself. Kyle Pitts does not protect himself, and Kyle Pitts gets sawed in half. But the throw was perfect. It's exactly what you want in that scenario. Here Mariota takes off, and it looks like he has a lot of room to run to begin with, but it turns out to be a bad decision. Now right here we can see this deep slant, it's basically a post, is going to come open. He had places to put the ball. He could have even just thrown the underneath ball to 17 and avoided getting hit himself. That's why it's a negative run. Not only did he lose yards, but there were better options available. Here this play gets blown up, but it's not because the throw is bad, it's just because the play is telegraphed, so it's a pedestrian throw, it's super routine. No fault on Mariota there, but we're moving on. Alright, more play action on first down. I love to see it. It's a routine throw, but if the play action opens up the field, tons of yards after the catch. Great scheme. Here's a handoff. We don't care about those. I don't think it was the right decision to make the give, but, well, yeah, no. If he gives to the running back, he gets blown up. He tries to make the most of it, and he gets face masked. So we're not going to call him for a run-on. We're not going to grade this play whatsoever. We don't know what would have happened without the face mask. Wait, are they not calling a face mask here? Because this is a face mask. Oh no, it's just a really good tackle. Yeah, that's a neutral run. I mean, he had to run. He couldn't have given it. And he made a decent play, but I mean, he got tackled. That's just a really bad throw. I don't understand the decision. Like, again, he's got Drake London here on the out route. I would hit that personally. He goes for everything. He's got a tight end on a corner who's got over-the-top coverage. That's just a bad decision. I know he's got a tight end on a small corner, but it's just bad. Oh, did he think he had a free play? Yeah, he had a free play. Okay, not a bad pass. You can't give a negative play on a free play. There was an offsides that turned into a personal foul. Very smart by Mariota to just throw it deep. Even if it was a bad throw, the intelligence is what matters there. You can't get punished for a free play because nothing bad can happen, right? You could throw the ball directly to the defensive tackle, and he could catch it, and it'd be a pickable unless it was a free play, in which the pick doesn't count and you still get your 5 yards. So it's all gravy there. Good process to go deep, and a positive run to cap off the drive. It's another good drive from Mariota leading to a touchdown. Just really efficient ball. The Bears come down and tie it up, so Mariota's got 8 minutes left in this game, and he would probably like to use about 7 of them in scoring a touchdown to put this thing on ice. Here, a nice pocket movement. 46 misses a block. This should have been a huge run, but 46 just doesn't engage here the way he should. Mariota cuts it outside the way he's supposed to. It's a neutral run because it didn't go anywhere, but that should have been huge. Here's a pedestrian throw. Yeah, see, the Falcons are just going to run the ball down the throat because their first priority is clock. Their second priority is scoring some form of points. They don't care if they get a field goal. They just want to not give the Bears any time. Unfortunately, that strategy doesn't work. They should have thrown the ball at some point. They did not. And now they're forced to go for it on 4th and 2. And somehow the most simple play they could run works. Just a halfback dive from shotgun. That's just offensive line prowess. And they're going to keep running the ball, because now they're thinking, we got under 2 minutes. Why pass? That's why pass. This is an elite throw. Watch this. So it's play action. Everybody bites because they've been running the ball like crazy, and Mariota puts it right over the top. 17 is looking the wrong way. He's looking over his inside shoulder backwards. He doesn't see the ball land right next to him. That is an elite throw. That should always be caught. And frankly, as soon as I finish recording this drive, I'm going to go clip that so I can post it on Twitter and say, are you kidding? Alright, and Justin Fields throws a game-ending pick, so we don't have to watch the rest of this game. The Falcons are just going to run the clock out, and we can get to the charts. As you can see here in the chart, Marcus Mariota played awesome football. This is an A- performance, mostly just because volume. He wasn't asked to do that much, so it's hard to give him an A or an A+, but he absolutely did everything he was asked to very efficiently, very well. He was ridiculously accurate. If you see here, he had the elite throw, he had 2 great throws. Now, I can understand if some of you want to disagree about the elite throw. That late throw to number 17, I think that's Alamade Zaccheaus. I understand if you want to say that even if Zaccheaus were looking over the correct shoulder, even if he tracked the ball, even if he knew where the fuck he was, the ball still would have been a little too high or a little too outside. I understand. I will, however, say I confidently believe it was an elite throw because I watched the game with 4 of my buddies yesterday. I got the 8 screen setup, only 4 TVs. And I paused it on the TV, I rewinded, I made sure everybody looked at it. I said, do you think that a wide receiver should catch this ball? And everybody agreed. While they think that I'm crazy for thinking Marcus Mariota is a really good quarterback, that ball absolutely should have been caught. The wide receiver just got lost. It was dumb. So, the 2 great throws, the elite throw that some of you might disagree with, 4 solid throws, 10 pedestrians, nothing wrong with that. And he was only inaccurate on 2 throws. He missed one to Pitts on a 3rd down, and he had the ball that looked interceptable because Drake London stopped running. For all we know, Drake London could have continued his route, and instead of that ball hitting the linebacker in the chest, it could have hit Drake London in the chest, and all of a sudden, Marcus Mariota's missed one pass. But we don't live in that world, so we're going to grade it as bad because miscommunications happen, but it takes two. He wasn't sacked at all. The Bears got very little pressure on him. He had the 2 positive runs, 1 for a touchdown and 1 to get damn near a touchdown. He had 5 neutral runs, 3 negative runs, and 8 positive pocket manipulates, which is actually relatively few for Marcus Mariota. This means he was accurate on 89.5% of his aimed passes. That's crazy. That's a really high rate. He also produced a positive play on 31% of his dropbacks. He only produced a negative play on 17%. And while 52% of his plays were pedestrian or neutral, these are cheap plays in my opinion. These are the kind of things that you would ask a backup quarterback to do, Kyle Orton. When he was asked to do anything besides a pedestrian play, he did, and he excelled. I mean, he literally missed 2 passes. That's crazy. Overall, he got a 10 slugging score, and I'm going to give him an A- just to be on the safe side, but I really think this should have been an A. I gave Ryan Tannehill a similar performance on Thursday. I gave him an A+. Right? Ryan Tannehill was accurate on 91% of his passes, so he missed 2 passes with just a little bit more volume. The difference was Tannehill had an extra elite throw. They won the game in more convincing fashion, and it just felt like he was asked to do less. So we'll give Marcus Mariota the A-. We'll be a little harsh on him. None of you can, nobody can argue that I'm being biased, because if you take away the elite throw, that puts Marcus Mariota at a typical A- score. So what do you guys think on the throw I called elite? What do you guys think on the performance in general? I know I'm going to hear it about that Drake London play. I'm glad that I didn't need any all-22 for this breakdown. Before I go, you should check out this summary of every game I've graded of Marcus Mariota's so far this season. If you want to see more about it, you can go check out my summary chart that I posted on my free Patreon. Click the link to my Patreon in the description. It's totally free. Go to week 10 summaries, and you'll be able to find this picture in better definition. Marcus Mariota has put together a really good season, and if you compare it to anybody like Brady, Mahomes, Allen, or Herbert, it actually stacks up. Now, he's not quite as good as Herbert, and he's not quite as good as Mahomes, but he's been better than Brady this year, and he blows dudes like Joe Burrow out of the water. I would say, so far, you can't argue to me that Mariota's been anything less than a top 8 quarterback, and personally, I'd put him right around 3 or 5. I don't really care to hear your opinions on where you rank Mariota this season. That's really subjective. But if you want to talk about this game, hit me with a timestamp in the comments, and let's talk some ball. Until next time, hasta.